as well.
Okay. So you won't miss anything. So it is cool and blustery here in Wisconsin, and it only means that winter is coming. And so we kind of realized that we don't have enough firewood for winter.
Nope, I was negligent. But also busy with other things. So today I went there. We have some standing dead trees that will burn okay. So I pushed them over and started cutting them up today.
Yes,
and it was really good work. I enjoy that kind of stuff. It's good exertion, and it feels, you can see the progress, which is nice.
Yes, that is so nice.
Yep. So that was good use of 50-degree weather today.
Yeah. So there'll be some splitting in our future, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we don't heat with wood exclusively.
No. If we did, I would be in big trouble. But the beauty of doing that kind of work this morning is that it got me nice and hungry for my sardine lunch.
Yeah. And I had my last batch of sardines maybe not quite a week ago. I know it wasn't last Friday because we were here. So it must have been after that. But I haven't had any sardines since because I've shared here before. I don't like them in general. I hate fish, have my entire life hated fish. But I've been trying to work my way into them in preparation for Dr. Boz's class that I'm taking starting on Monday. But here's what I wanted to report. Last time I had them, maybe last Saturday, I came to you and said something incredible has happened. I was so hungry for dinner that I ate a half a can of sardines and I did not hate them. They went down pretty easily for the first time ever. Now you'd think I would have just kept eating them, but I was out and then I bought them. And again, I need to have them ready to go in my fridge, like not even crack them open. They need to be ready to go or else I find ways to avoid them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But being hungry is a great way to learn to like new foods.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So it was incredible. Oh, and I want to say, I don't know if she's here yet. I don't see her. Sue, Smoky Bear Lover. I was thinking of you because you completed this. You were been working on the 72 hours sardine fast. I think you've done it multiple times. And so I was like, if Sue can do it, I can do it.
So JJ, the title of this episode, my clickbait was, is carnivore diet too risky?
Is it too risky?
The stage is yours.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't know you were going to throw it to me. So I really do like to talk about risk. I've talked about it here on these lives before. I am a master fearless living coach. And so fearless living is all about being willing to move into the uncomfortable zone, into uncertainty in order to thrive in life. Yeah. And most people think when they think risks, they think of physical risks, skydiving and things like that. But this is really about the emotional risks that hold us back. And changing someone's diet can feel very risky.
Well, I was thinking that it was actually risky for your health.
What?
Carnivore. Isn't that like the big concern people have, and they think that they poo-poo it and think it's a bad idea?
They think it's a bad
because they think it's going to kill you.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And I get it from that perspective of believing that you need to eat the colors and you need your vegetables and you need to limit animal proteins. If that is your indoctrination and you hear someone going carnivore, you're thinking that they are stupid, crazy, dumb, or insane.
I'm gonna die.
Those are actually just 4 words that mean 2 different things. But the feared consequence of a risky undertaking is it's going to hurt your health.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, it's going to be bad for your heart. It's going to be bad for your digestion. But it is far more risky to eat something approximating the sad American diet.
Yeah.
Or the sad Western diet. The status quo for most of the population is high risk diet.
Yeah. And I know for me, that is one thing that has kept me motivated in carnivore all the time, is just looking around and seeing people who are about our age or maybe a little bit older, and they have mobility issues. They have breathing issues. You can hear them with labored breathing. They're having a really challenging time just making it through life, like going to the grocery store. And it's not a small percentage, it's a pretty large percentage. So I look around at that and I think that that looks incredibly risky to me.
We're getting one report that you can't hear. If others of you can't hear, let us know. But everything on our side looks like it's going out
Mhm.
correctly. Okay. So, Keisha, it's your
Okay.
problem.
If you can hear us. Ah,
But so it's an elimination diet, right?
right.
It fundamentally, it is taking everything out
Mhm.
except for meat and eggs and bacon and see how you do.
Yeah.
And I guess the physical risk we understand is really low because what happens invariably is people get better.
Yeah.
And so once you're far a little ways down the path, you start going, not only is this not risky, it's the best thing I've ever done. It has had such an enormous impact on my life.
Mhm.
And but getting that orientation is not something that you can implant into someone's understanding
Mm-mm.
until they've actually done the work and
Yeah.
gone through carnivore. That's
Yeah.
the crazy thing about it.
Yeah. And it's important though, as everyone in the carnivore space says, that we all get our stories and our wins out there like we did last week, I think it was.
Yep, we were bragging about it last
Yeah,
week.
yeah. We get our stories and our wins out there because you see the success of
Yeah,
others and it starts to build some certainty. There's no certainty in life or with health or with diet, no matter what you do. And yet, when you see more and more people having those positive experiences, it does build a little bit more belief and a little bit more certainty inside. Yeah.
so, I mean, that's really what risk is, right? Is there's an uncertain consequence.
Yes.
And I suppose that the consequence also could be negative.
In a risk.
In
Yes.
a risk, you could have an uncertain consequence that could be
You
negative.
could fail or have
Yeah,
some negative consequence, be
right.
humiliated.
If there's no risk, if there's no negative consequence, there's no risk.
Correct. Correct.
Now, is there any negative consequence to carnivore? Well, maybe in the healing phases, there's some discomfort,
Mhm.
but um, I'm not coming up with a lot of downsides. But is that just confirmation bias? Is it because we only hear from the successful carnivores?
That might be true. There might be truth to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely be
I
true.
mean, we assume that for vegans and vegetarians, their successes is only confirmation bias, right? Because we don't like that way of eating.
Mhm.
But actually, their successes are probably very much the same reason that someone leaving the sad diet for carnivore, they leave the sad diet for vegetarianism. They're eliminating a whole raft of bad foods that are poisoning them,
Mhm.
and it's just a better series of choices. Um, whether those benefits sustain, I think is very individual.
Yeah. Yes, I think so, and we don't actually know about carnivore. I mean, yes, we have some successful long-term carnivores, and by successful, I mean that they don't seem to be having any negative health consequences, but you just don't really know.
No.
No, there is always some uncertainty. But what I do know is that when I was eating more aligned with what the recommendations are, that I felt awful. I had brain fog, I had low energy, I had very bad hormonal issues. Um, it was just not a good situation. Yeah, I had a lot of headaches. Remember that when
Oh,
I
yeah,
used to
I
get
remember them well.
I was napping a lot. There was just a lot periods of malaise and sort of a depression, just a lot going on. So I didn't feel well. And I knew that whole, definition of insanity thing that you have to make a change. But I didn't know what change to make for a long time. I gave up gluten.
Yep.
That was good. It helped. But I didn't know what change to make. And turns out it needed to be one of the riskiest feeling changes of all because it was a 180 from what we were taught growing up. And that is what helped me move into a place where I'm able to thrive and I'm not in that whole survival mode thing that I was in with the standard American diet and the survival mode. Again, I see a lot of people our age who look like they're barely making it through. Yeah. So,
Well, that's not us.
no.
Natalie is impressed. JJ ate sardines?
Yes,
That's
right?
big news.
Yes.
She's been doing that for a while in very small doses.
Very small. This was my largest dose, and like I said, it went down well.
Oh, Smokey Bear Lover was here.
Hello.
That has elder parent stuff today. She did her 4th week of 72-hour sardines.
Nice.
Woke up with 2.0 ketones. That
Very
is
nice.
fantastic. Steak Man, I ate 2 ribeyes a day for 3 days. Am I going to die? Proposed thumbnail has me on the edge of my seat.
I know.
Alan, I think that you are in extraordinary danger of extraordinary health. Amy says, I saw the trailers for Healing Humanity recently when Dr. Barry and Carrie were live on YouTube. I'm so excited for the world to see this, then determine if it's risky.
Well, speaking of that, I did we actually saw the trailer that he's been showing when we were up at the world famous Montello Theater.
Yes.
This summer. Meetup. Yep. At the meetup. And that trailer is phenomenal. And I see he's been making the rounds to a lot of the people who are in the trailer, including Dr. Barry. I didn't watch that one, but I did watch the one with Dr. Eid.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. One of my faves, just again, seeing how people are thriving with mental health. And that has become the biggest benefit for me. Just general energy and mental health.
I thought the trailer was sensational.
Yeah.
And only afterwards.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
Did Adam, Carrie's partner in crime on this, point out that at least in that particular one, they don't mention the word carnivore ever.
Ever. And I think that's wise.
Steak Man Allen says, praise report. My sister contracted skin cancer twice this year, metabolic unhealthy. She switched to carnivore and Fenben. Losing weight feels good. She has hope for once this year.
I am sending my thoughts out to her, and you've got to be so happy she's at least given it a try. Yeah. It's so interesting that we've talked about this before. A lot of people come to carnivore in desperation of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so fascinating because when we're talking about this uncertainty piece, I mean, if you are really ill, your uncertainty level is high no matter what.
Yeah,
so that's sort of
a
well, I might as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Roll the dice.
I think we talk about this stuff constantly because she's a fearless living coach. So I mean, it's a pretty big claim, fearlessness, but it's not really about banishing a certain emotion from your experience of life, but it is about recalibrating and reframing perceptions.
Yes.
And we always hear about having to get out of the comfort zone because there's really no growth in the comfort zone. And unfortunately, it's hard to learn that lesson. And I've been thinking frequently today about the difference between there's sort of like a leisure activity one could do that's restful but distracting, like watching YouTubes or reading a book. There's something passive about it where you're receiving external content that is basically distracting your attention and filling you with external thoughts.
Mhm.
And I think it's a really beneficial tool when you're at a low ebb because you can at least temporarily escape the habitual bad thoughts and replace them with something that's diverting.
Mhm.
It's better if those are at least positive
Yep.
rather than an endless flow of other people's thoughts that are also negative.
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
but then there's a different thing, which is where one is being much more intentional in a more restful mode of generating their own positive frames in calibration and thought, which is takes more mental effort and will.
Mhm.
And so I started to kind of get this. I don't know. I'm kind of riffing right now because I don't have a complete thought on this. But I was thinking about my morning ritual, which I've sort of defaulted into, which is I roll out of bed, I make my first cup of coffee, and then generally speaking, I'll either read something that's light or interesting, or I'll watch some interesting topic video as sort of like a warm up for the brain.
Mhm.
But then that's done. I get my journal out and I write very intentionally about what's good.
Mhm.
And
Now
the
this
whole
is a new practice, right?
it is a new practice. And the point of it was to set the mindset of the day
Mhm.
on purpose, basically.
Mhm.
Rather than sort of just default into whatever podcast I happen to want to listen to, which can often be alarming because I tend to be drawn to alarming topics. And that's not beneficial to me. It just is what I'm drawn to because I think that naturally we look for dangers in the world. But being more intentional with that, generating those, and it's not like inventing a positive thing out of nothing. It's not like sitting there going, "Man, puppies are cute."
That's not a bad thought though.
Well, not all puppies are cute. I'm sorry to say some puppies I don't like. I mean, I don't dislike that puppy. But the point is to actually looking for very specific things in my life or my day yesterday, which
Mhm.
is the best place to look because it's recent, and actually writing out that good thing.
Mhm.
And it has an enormous delayed reaction power because I don't generally feel it in the moment. But as I do it, that positive frame, that positive outlook, despite actual real troubles in the world and in life, um, allows me to set the tone for the day so that the rest of my day
Yeah.
is much, much more full of opportunity
Mhm.
and things that I probably would have seen as risks look more like opportunities than dangers
Yes.
by doing
Yes.
that intentional effort.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I've been experimenting
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Have you ever gone at the end of the day then to just sort of go, okay, here's what I laid out in my morning journal as the mindset? Do you ever review at the end of the day the things
Uh,
that aligned with it?
no, I don't do it exactly quite like that.
Mhm.
But every night when I turn off the light,
Mhm.
I go through several things that I'm thankful
Okay.
for and I verbalize it in my head. And the number one is I'm grateful for this day.
Mhm.
And the second one
Mhm.
is I'm grateful for JJ.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then my daughter, and then the dog, he gets short shrift.
Well, I'm gonna bring this up. We were talking about this, you and I mentioned were talking about it, and I was talking about it with 3 people yesterday, counting you. So it was a big topic for me. So if we're looking at, I'm gonna do a scale here. It goes from -10 to +10 with 0 in the middle, right? That makes sense?
Yep.
Minus, positive, 0. So if you're in the minus, area of the scale. And I'm going to call that survival mode of some sort. That maybe the diversions can get you closer to 0.
So if you're like at a -6,
Yeah.
the diversions can get you to -2.
Right.
So you notice there's an improvement, but it's
Correct.
still not into positive
But you
territory.
wanna be probably positive 10, most people would wanna be, right?
Of course,
Who
yeah,
wouldn't
who
want
wouldn't
to,
want that?
right? So the diversions can get you a little further down the path, at least temporarily. And if we wanna move into the positive mode where 0 and up, say, is thriving, 0 is baseline, you're fine, everything's okay. This is survival mode, this is thriving mode. So you have to be very intentional at first, especially to get into the positive zone. It takes more effort, it's a bigger lift, just like with carnivore. When you are first in carnivore, you might have a lot of enthusiasm, so it might not be a heavy lift right away, but at some point you're going to be confronting those habits or those addictions around food, and the first holiday without the foods you're used to, and the first social event, and the first time someone tries to enable you, and all of those firsts. It is a heavier lift. It takes more willpower and it's more challenging, but that is part of the process of moving into the thriving zone. It takes more effort if you're in negative zone. Is
Agreed.
it? So you doing your journal and making it more intentional is a heavier lift, and it's easy to just go backslide.
One of the challenges, I mean, you've been in this field for a long time, and one of the early things you were forced to do is write 100 gratitudes.
Yep.
And to me, it was just that just sounded like torture.
Mhm.
And in the past, when I've tried to do that kind of exercise because I thought it'd be good for me, uh, I really ran up against this problem of the feeling not arising with the thoughts.
Yep.
So I could say I was grateful for X, Y, and Z, and yet I couldn't actually manifest any feeling in my body. And because of that, it felt fake and
Yes.
forced.
Yep.
And then to me, that was like, well, if it's fake and forced, then it's worse than not feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a big obstacle for me
Well,
with that kind of a
yeah, and when
practice.
I work with clients, we have 3 different sort of cautions that we give them, because when you start doing those new practices and it feels forced or hard or like you're faking it or a phony, or you feel just confused by the whole thing. Let me actually do this. There are 3 phases. There's feeling like a phony or a fake, feeling confused and lost, and the third one, it slipped out of my head right now. Oh, it'll come to me when I'm not trying to think of it. I know this by heart and it's gone. But there are these 3 phases that is really your survival mechanism trying to keep you from doing the thing that's going to get you to thriving, because that's where the certainty is, right?
Yeah.
Your body knows what it's like to eat the standard American diet. You know what it's like to do your regular diversion in the morning. But anytime you're trying something new, your survival mechanisms want to keep you back where you are.
I think a big piece of this
Mhm.
is that our mood, if I because the mood tends to be kind of a habit
Yeah.
that aligns
Yes.
with our thinking,
Yeah.
is that we're so used to mood arising from external
Mm.
facts and circumstance.
Yes.
And so when we're trying to create a mood first when the external circumstances don't feel like they align, it feels like we're putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
But the problem is that, and you only figure this out after a number of decades,
Mhm.
is that external circumstances don't align to suit your happiness
No, it's
all the time.
crazy, isn't
I
it?
don't know why that is.
At some point, you bump up against that.
And so it's one of these things where it's like, okay, so like, okay, I get it that all of the facts around my life at different points of life, not now, had aligned to be pretty bad.
Mhm.
And so I was very justified in feeling poorly about things.
Mhm.
But the fact that it was true didn't help me not feel that way.
Right.
And then because I couldn't align external circumstances to suit me, I was pretty much trapped feeling bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the move to go, okay, how do I shift my attention
Yeah.
from the actual reality that I don't like to the part of reality that I do?
Mhm.
And when I would try to do that intentionally, it always felt totally flat.
Yep.
I felt like it was fake and forced.
Yep. And that's conditional happiness.
Yeah.
You can only be happy if all the stars are aligned and everything is perfect. And that's
That's a bad trap.
a bad trap. That's a very bad trap. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I think it's feeling lost, feeling confused, feeling like a phony. Those are the 3. Yeah,
But there is an alternative,
there is.
and it sounds terrible because it's like, well, just don't feel that way. It's like, it sounds like what I'm saying is like, okay, so things are terrible. Here's an idea. Feel good. Oh, wow, that was easy.
Why isn't everyone doing that? Yeah.
Oh man, my relationship is terrible or doesn't exist. My finances are kaput and my health is terrible. I know. I'll just be happy.
Mhm.
And that's not what I'm saying.
No, no. As a matter of fact, we are very careful not to do fearless living coaches are very careful not to do that emotional or spiritual bypass, because we know emotions are moods are a certain energy
Mhm.
in your body. There's a certain vibe that goes through you. And if you just try to shove it away or ignore it, it's going to come back with a vengeance. It's going to come back. But there is okay, I acknowledge that I'm feeling this way. And so you honor the feeling, you acknowledge the feeling, and you act on your commitments. So if you have a commitment to a better mindset, a commitment to a better life, a commitment to carnivore,
Yeah. Do it in
whatever
90 days.
Yep. Then it's like, okay, I feel really crummy about this. And I'm going to keep going forward toward my goal anyway, in some way. And then that's where you sort of can look at that scale and be like, okay, do I only have it in me today with this emotion that I have to do the diversion? Or am I going to push myself a little bit further to actually write the gratitudes or do the mindset work?
And I think when you were saying that, it was occurring to me that this is harder if you don't have as enough years
Yeah.
to have realized that the thing that you would tend to retreat into as sort of a balm or a medication or a numbing or an escape only creates a debt
Mhm.
that makes the next day harder.
Yeah.
And it takes repeating that pattern a lot.
Yeah.
Some never, I think, figure it out to go to you eventually get to sort of that. I mean, we talk about you get to carnivore through a desperate moment.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of how it is you eventually see that the thing you retreated to has no solace in it at all.
Right. And yeah.
And then it's the only option is to try something different,
Yeah.
something else. And if that involves having to sit down and actually think about something that is literally truly good, but when thinking about it doesn't make you feel anything.
Mhm.
And then trusting that process, just like I ate literal steaks I did not like.
You did. I'm eating sardines.
And literal hamburger patties I did not want that tasted like ash in my mouth,
Mhm.
partly because of my cooking skills. Because I knew that there was nothing behind me. There was no other alternative. There was no
Yeah.
path other than this to get to a different life and a different perspective, a different state of health.
Mhm. Yeah, I came to both coaching 20 years ago and carnivore in those way. There was no path backwards. I had to do something else. And I love how you said you figure out there's no solace in doing what you have been doing, because I mean, so many carnivores, you included here with us today, have talked about when we choose to have something off plan, we very often go, that wasn't even worth it. That wasn't even
It didn't give me the thing it used to give me.
yeah.
I remember I would go through these phases of being more or less health conscious.
Mhm.
And, we always talked about it being off the wagon or out of control or in a feeding frenzy that would last months. And one of my things was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Mhm.
And I have no ability to moderate it. So I would make the first two and eat those while I would be watching TV or looking at something on the internet. And then I would finish them and I would still have this. It wasn't hunger. It was that pleasurable moment was gone. I could not tolerate that it was over for the day.
Mhm.
And so I would eat two more
Mhm.
just to extend the pleasure, and then up that night awake with my stomach like a
Inflated.
basketball and eating 5 Tums and going, "I am losing sleep tonight that I need for tomorrow, and I feel awful
Yeah.
because of that choice." So while it gave me that moment, it didn't really it put me in debt.
It never yeah, you never got to 0. You were consistently in the negative. You might have moved
And
up.
I repeated that pattern over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And it gave me the same trajectory towards being unhealthy, being sick, being anxious, feeling terrible, IBS,
Mhm.
being overweight, feeling terrible about myself,
Yeah.
not having excitement about the future, not feeling there was possibility. So eventually I did like punch myself in the face enough times that I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And to make some different choices that led me down this path to eventually to carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, I came to like I said, I came to life coaching because I was already having issues with mood, energy, and depression. The all my stuff is hormonal, almost all of it, and it manifests with energy, mood, depression, etcetera, right? So and weight eventually. And so I came to life coaching because of that.
Mhm.
I was experiencing a lot of stress and issues in my 30s, and that's when I started hired a coach, eventually became a coach. And what I saw though was that it helped, right? It moved me closer to 0, and life coaching even moved me beyond 0 sometimes into the positive zone. So that was great. But I also saw struggles. My last period of depression was in 2017. I'd been coaching for a very long time by that time, and it it just couldn't
Mhm.
sustain me. It couldn't sustain me. It did a lot of good, but it couldn't sustain me. And then even more so, I saw so many people struggling, and especially after 2020, so many people struggling with their mindset. My clients, people in groups I was in, and so they were doing all the right things with mindset and barely moving the needle. And so what I discovered then is that when I started carnivore, that I am automatically at a new set point.
Mm.
But I was in the same place where the mindset work just wasn't doing what it should. But when I added diet to the whole thing and got my body running correctly, got my hormones more balanced, then it's like a launch pad for me.
'Cause now you're not on the treadmill.
I'm not on the
Yeah.
tread. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. The mindset work was awesome. It did a lot, but I was still on a treadmill. And now no treadmill. It's crazy. Like it literally feels crazy to me. Cuz I've been coaching myself for almost 20 years plus my training of 3 years in before that, and if I'd known and if I could tell all those clients that I've worked with, if you if you change what you're putting in your mouth, it's going to make things a lot easier. And oh, by the way, the things you put in your mouth, the food that you eat is completely the opposite of what you've been told your entire life.
Yeah. So, it makes very logical sense that getting nutrition right, because all of that goes to the brain, to just the brain chemistry and stuff,
Yeah.
getting that right. But I've done that.
Yeah.
And I have continued to have these habitual thoughts that stray below 0.
Right now,
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
as a carnivore.
yeah, even as a carnivore.
Mhm.
And that was confusing to me because I was like, well, I've, Dr. Georgia Ede and Chris Palmer get the ketones going, that helps. But I realized that, it really is only about getting yourself going with the current
Mhm.
rather than against the current.
Oh.
But um, the current that I'm with is still biased negative a lot of the time, habitually.
Mhm.
And it's not because of external factors.
No.
And that's the real kind of wake up moment that I had. I was like, my life is amazing. I can list enormous numbers of positive things in my circumstance that people would dream to have their lives be like that.
Mhm.
And yet I would wake up in the morning and I would be checking in with how I felt, and how I felt versus how I thought I should feel was very, very, very different.
Mhm.
And one day I don't really know what it was, but I was observing these thoughts as one does. And I said, you know, if I didn't think that just now and
Yes.
I thought something else, I would be ahead of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really took something that obvious for me to go, all of that focus of my attention has not contributed to an improvement.
No.
It has only contributed to continuing thinking habitual thoughts. So it
Yeah.
was just so obvious,
No, I
but
get it.
it's also it's that easy, but it's also that hard.
But you have to get it. So I said my last period of depression was in 2017. I'd had periods before that. I'd been coaching a long time, done all the mindset work, was not a carnivore yet. Was not a carnivore yet in 2017. But I had that same sort of epiphany that you had at that point. And for me, it was here I am. I'll say I'm feeling at a -3 all the time. There's -3. And the more I think about it and fight against it, that is my suffering, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the thoughts that create the suffering. So I'm at a -3 physically and mood, right? So my suffering, my thoughts are making me -6, -7, -8. And if I stop the suffering thoughts, I will at least be at a -3 and the suffering will go away. I'll be there and it's a form of surrender and acceptance, which is a whole.
So I mean, what I hear in that is that you're you're saying I have this discomfort
Mhm,
and it makes me miserable,
mhm,
but I can decide to be uncomfortable and stop fighting it
mhm.
and just rise my default state by a couple of points
Right. Yeah.
and get into something that's a livable life.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I said to myself. I said, if this situation never changes, I never have more energy, I never have more mood, how can I be content? That was the best word
Mhm.
I can use and not be suffering. Yeah. And it started with the diversion. I really focused in on just watching a lot of positive
Mm.
videos. And that's all I had. I didn't have any energy. So that's where it started. But once you know, I've not been depressed since then.
Right?
So I think, even though it's all hormonal and stuff too, I think that was a big piece of my puzzle as well, was stopping the suffering thoughts.
There is a time for rest and recovery.
Yes.
This is, I think it's really important to say it because I don't want to give the impression that you just need to buck up and think different
Push,
thoughts.
push, push. No.
There have definitely been times in life, I think we've all experienced, where just the realities of life or the season
Mhm.
means that stuff has to get done now. There's that old saying, make hay while the sun is shining.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. You can't get the hay wet or it molds and it's ruined and you can't feed it to the animals. And so you have to do it. And that requires dipping into the buffer, the stores. And it does exact a cost that eventually has to be paid. And so there is time for, okay, now I need to rest. I need to recover. I need to turn my mind off. I want
Yeah.
some passive entertainment to
Yes.
divert me while I recuperate and collect my sources.
Mhm.
I think there's a time in any given week or quarter or year where that's a necessary phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the risk is that becomes the default rest mode when there's a more active rest that's going to pay bigger dividends.
Mhm.
But it's hard to get in out of neutral. It's or reverse. It's hard to get
Mhm.
out of that to get into a gear of
Yeah.
mode of action. I know. Like today, I was like, I'm kind of tired, but I was like, I know once I get out there and start, getting to work with the chainsaw and cutting up the trees and stuff, I'll actually feel better.
Mhm.
And I did.
Mhm.
And that gets to another kind of concept that's been floating around my mind. The generation that came before ours liked to talk about the work being its own reward.
Mhm.
And I think that there's actually something to that if you can find it, right?
Mhm.
But not all work is that exciting or that rewarding. And what I realized today is that the 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 hard labor and the shower are all of one thing.
You'll need to explain that a little bit more, I think.
So remember any time where we've done a project outside where you get really sweaty, really dirty, and really tired.
Mhm.
The best thing is the shower. But the shower doesn't have its same meaning or impact without the dirt, the sweat, and the
Yeah.
fatigue.
Yep.
And so the work isn't necessarily enjoyable in the moment always, but it is enjoyable after the fact.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
it's actually kind of it is an amplifier of satisfaction. And then there's this thing that I love to do is once we've done some project, we get cleaned up, we have a meal, we get in the golf cart and go look at the project we just did
Yep.
and just kind of survey our accomplishment. There's nothing better than that. And going, yeah, we crossed that off the list. We did it. Look how nice it looks.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily satisfying
Yeah.
and it creates some forward motivation.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know how that relates to the topic at hand, but it's something that occurred to me that the reward is in the work, but it's not necessarily at the time of the work.
Well, it certainly wasn't there when you were eating the ash flavored
No,
beef,
that's true.
right? So, I mean,
But if I had been hungrier when I was eating that ash flavored beef, I would have liked it a lot
you
better.
might have.
I
Yeah.
might have also taken more care to prepare it in a less flazzy-da way. Let's see. Amy is asking, is Eric going to do the 3-day sardines followed by a water fast along with JJ when she's in the Boz class? I would like to. Never done a sardine fast before, only a water fast.
Now, you've been in more of a sort of priming phase recently, so I'm not sure if you're going to jump on board.
Yeah, it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I might do the sardines, but I don't think I'll be doing any water fasts at
Mhm.
this time. But I don't mind sardines.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
Alan says, when I get a negative thoughts about carnivore, I remind myself that I have no other healthy options because salad is toxic.
Right. There is no going back.
He says, I feel a +10 on your scale. Carnivore is freaky awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are goals for me, Alan.
Mhm.
I am looking straight at where you're at, and that's where I am trying to get to. Melanie says, I'm quickly wishing I jumped on this live stream sooner. It's fascinating. Well, I'm glad you think so.
Well, I'm glad we're not losing everyone because yeah.
If you think so, if you agree, make sure you hit the thumbs up, please. Thank you. Alan says, happy, healthy, wealthy, tan, strong, and in love, eating like a king. Try to talk me out of this.
Well, I get that because, we've mentioned this on the channel before. I also have bioidentical hormones. Maybe I'll stop that someday. I'm not there yet. But when I started on them, you were very concerned about that.
Yeah.
And, more has come out about it, but I said, I need to live a vibrant life. I can't just be walking through life as a zombie. And if for some reason this shortens things, try to talk me out of this, because if this shortens things, at least I had quality of life. I had better health span. And I don't believe carnivore is dangerous at all based on, we've talked about it. How can something that is so good for your brain be bad somewhere else? Like, it just seems incongruent that it wouldn't just be overall good for you and the way I feel. And if for some weird reason it shortens my life, dang it, I had a dang good life. I wasn't napping it away in my bed.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Feeling like garbage.
Yeah. It does take some will.
Some will to do carnivore?
No, to pull yourself from the groove of a certain mood.
Yeah.
Momentum.
Yes.
And saying, okay, so if externalities remain the same, I still have a life to live.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to change my mood?
Yeah.
And some people reach for medicines or drugs or different interventions, and sometimes those are sometimes those are therapeutic and helpful, and sometimes those are escapes that create a debt. Melanie says, "Ha! Stacked a half cord." Oh, I see. It's been reposted on here. Stacked a half cord of firewood last weekend. I didn't take a shower. I took an Epsom salt bath to avoid sore muscles the next day. Well, that's a fair move.
Yes,
and it probably
is.
felt amazing.
Yeah. When we moved into this house, when we were remodeling it, I made sure we had a bathtub because we didn't really have one at the other place that was usable. And so just for that type of thing, that sounds wonderful.
Nocilla is asking everybody about this experience of increased red blood cell markers and then having nosebleeds, blood and stool, giving blood tomorrow to see if it helps. Been carnivore since February. See your doctor. We're not doctors.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely see your doctor. I will say some of my red blood cell markers changed, and we're not doctors. Yeah.
Kimmy says, we get rewarded every time we walk by a mirror, wake up in the morning and doing everything.
Yes. Yes.
And it's true, literally true, but it's also so easy to overlook.
Yeah.
Through the momentum of life.
Well,
and I'm smelling something on burning. It might be our daughter's cooking.
I'm going to go upstairs and
please check to see if the house is on fire. Hello, Paul. Never been here? Well, welcome. We are delighted to have you. Are you carnivore or thinking about it, or do you think we're crazy? Our video on Tuesday this past week, maybe it was Monday, was I love Leucine. So let us know in the comments if you saw this video. It featured our favorite character, Leucine. I am not going to give you the whole thing now because I don't want to steal my own thunder.
No.
But if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend this shallow dive into this amazing amino acid.
The house is not on fire. I think what it is she's lit a candle.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Yes.
I have not watched any carnivore content this week. And I didn't watch hardly anything last week. I've been in a mode of not watching diet or health related content at all and focusing on other topics. But I'm guessing you saw some.
I did watch some. I didn't give you the thumbnails this time around. I've been a little lighter this week as well. I've got a new thing I've been doing. I think I'm on day 9 or 10 of doing a 40-minute meditation in the morning.
Ooh, that's pretty lengthy.
And that's usually when I'm watching videos. So I too have shaken things up a little bit. But I did see, like I said, Carrie interviewing Dr. Eid.
Mhm.
I saw Carrie interviewing the 16-year-old guy who's a rower. And I just find it fascinating listening to really young people who have changed their diet in this way. So that was cool. And I also watched a couple Bella videos, one being the live stream. And they talked about something really interesting that I was going to bring up and I didn't. So I'll figure that out for next week. But and I watched, I think, another Bella video, and that's not, and some Two Crazy Ketos. Two Crazy Ketos are always in my rotation because it's just, they're my go-to to just have on when I'm cleaning, cooking, whatever it might be. But yeah, it was really sort of a homestead how
Kind of weak.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Getting back to the roots. Yeah. Carrie started carnivore shortly after I did. So he was one of those ones that caught my eye right away because we were not too far along in the differences in our paths. Yeah.
Paul, who's new here, has been 4 years carnivore.
Hey,
So congratulations on that.
big congrats. Big congrats. We're just a little bit behind you by about a year.
Melanie saw the video. It was good, Ricky.
Yes.
I can't do the Ricky laugh. I don't even know why I tried it. You got some splaining to do, Leucine.
Yep. Oh, I am a big classic TV fan and always have
It
been.
reminded me of the Kenny Rogers song, "You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me, Lucille."
Yes.
When I was a little kid, that song came out.
Mhm.
And the words are something about with 4 of the children and a crop in the fields.
Mm.
But as a little kid, I heard with 400 children and a crop in the fields. And that's how I sang it, with that complete earnestness of youth. And it just cracked all the adults up. They're like, I don't think she had 400 children. I'm like, no, that's what the words are. She had 400.
Oh my.
I watched the Leucine video. Was fascinated by the insulin trigger effect it had on the body, which makes perfect sense to create an anabolic state in the body. Insulin being an anabolic. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
If you eat only meat, you need something to trigger the insulin in order for all of that protein to be taken in to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Nosilla is saying, can you turn on the CC option so I can share with my deaf friends? Of course we can. I don't know if I can do it for this live stream in this moment live, but it is a thing that can happen. Kimmy says, I watched mostly Dr. Chafee this week.
Oh.
Love Carrie's trailer for his carnivore documentary.
I need to put Chafee in my list. It's been a while.
Paul says 4 years, but still type 2 diabetes.
Hmm?
Well, hopefully it's improved though. The A1C has come down.
I was just going to, I made a note for us on the closed captioning. What have you must have experienced some progress, some health benefits, I'm guessing, to be on it for 4 years. So I'd love to
stick
hear
with
that.
it.
Yeah.
Her name is Loose Wheel in the song.
Yeah. So I have a story. I like yours better, but we're Gen X. And so my friend who lived a house away, they had a tin shed, like a storage shed. And it was full of garbage and rusty nails and all that. But one of the things, if you went up onto the roof and you ooched to the edge of the roof, the tin roof would bend, creating a slide. Okay. But the way this ties in is that forever in my mind, that shed is related to You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me, Loose Wheel, because my friend's older brother had written that in the shed.
Okay.
He thought it was funny or something, and he wrote it right in the shed. And so, yeah. And we all lived to tell.
Yeah.
After being using the roof as a slide.
Amy says, I'm Gen X and I have no idea what you're all talking about with these references. Well, Gen X spans a lot of years.
Yes.
And so maybe you came along later or too early or missed it, or maybe it was regional for us.
Oh, maybe.
It's always a possibility.
It is a possibility.
So We are now at the stage of the live where I just talk about whatever I want to. And I want to talk about Royalty Now,
Oh,
the YouTube channel. This is not about modern day royalty.
no.
This channel, they do a history kind of biography of a person. Then they show the portraits that are available. And then they do a rendering of, in like a sort of a 3D rendering of what that person looks like. And then they put them in modern clothing. So Elizabeth I, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon,
Caligula.
Julius Caesar, wouldn't pick it. And they're fascinating. And then the recreation's a little bit of a letdown, but it's still pretty awesome. So if you like history and that kind of stuff, and you want some passive but reasonably feel good and interesting content, check out Royalty Now.
What's fascinating is we went from watching all the seasons of Love is Blind to Royalty Now.
And I have to say, Love is Blind became toxic to me. I started to hate it.
Yeah. It started out good in general for us because we talked a lot about our relationship.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
just
And we're grateful for the relationship we have.
yeah, right. And reminisced about things in our early days in our relationship. And it was really nice the first season. We had a lot of good discussions. But then
It went downhill.
Yeah.
If you haven't given us a thumbs up, we would really appreciate one. If you haven't subscribed and you've countered us and you're like, hey, this content is great, this is right up my alley, consider subscribing. On the other hand, if everything we said was a disappointment, subscribe anyway. Because then when we come up, you're like, oh yeah, those are, I don't want to watch them.
We won't sneak up on you.
Our vibe is generally laughing.
Yeah.
Mildly unserious, and we hope supportive of your choices to be a carnivore or close to
Wherever you are on the spectrum.
We're not super strong and you must absolutely be a perfect carnivore, because frankly, I am not a perfect carnivore. I had, what did I have? I had my fermented dairy, which has some carbs in it.
It does.
And so that's kind of on the fence. Some people are like, well, that's not carnivore.
It does. One of the things I have to do leading into this Dr. Boz class is to track what I'm eating on Chronometer so that I can know what my baseline carbs are. And they say fermented dairy, that it, the fermentation process eliminates all the carbs and it eliminates all the lactose, and just like it's fine. It's fine. And the truth is, I have no idea. I don't know what's gotten used up and what hasn't. So the recommendation that I saw online was to just do it net with the ingredients. So we use half and half to make the yogurt. And so, yeah, every morning I'm having about 9 grams of carbs with my breakfast right off the bat.
If it was half and half.
If it's half and half, right. If it were half and half. Now, again, some of that might be gone, but I'm not rounding down or anything. I'm just taking all the carbs that would be in the half and half. But that's quite a bit.
Your blood sugar and ketones are staying pretty good though these days, right?
Yeah, I've been doing really well. Again, it's been shifting that eating window. It's very early, but the big thing is eating my protein earlier in the day and having my last, it's not even a full meal, but last snack of a day has been a fat bomb in the past. Usually, I know people have been asking what that is. It's usually a lot of heavy cream butter in some format. But more recently, I've even gotten away from doing the major fat bomb. I still do have a high fat butter or something, but I don't know. Number one, I'm getting sick of the heavy cream types, the fat bombs I was making. And number two, I'm already having the yogurt. Like, how much dairy am I going to eat? So yeah. And I've still been having decent ketones now. I feel like the biggest thing is that protein in the morning topped off with a higher fat thing in the evening.
We do get asked every time we bring this up that we're having this high fat last meal of the day. So what that looks like for me tonight, I had 5 egg yolks and 5 pieces of bacon.
Mhm.
Um, the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And last night, I didn't have it tonight, because I just wasn't hungry. But last night I had, gosh, I think it was, give or take, like 40 grams of salami with 40 grams of butter. Like, that was it.
So
Yeah.
my morning blood sugars have continued to improve, because that's why I instituted this scheme of biasing my protein to the first meal and then having as little protein as reasonable as my last meal, so that then I have a long stretch for my fast overnight without the substrate for gluconeogenesis in my body.
Yeah.
And therefore, my body has to choose ketogenesis. And that scheme has worked really well.
For both of us.
And so now, like yesterday, I haven't been testing my blood sugar of late much because I was like getting a little obsessed.
Mhm.
So I had to just stop that. But then I just did a spot check and it was 89 the other morning. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not the best I've ever seen, but that's more in line with what I would expect as a carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I figured it out.
I think you did too. I am impressed. And of course, he figured it out a few weeks after I made my payment to Dr. Boz. But before the class began. No, I'm still excited to be taking it. I think I'm going to learn a lot, and I have some questions to
I'm
ask.
excited to watch it over your shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And yeah. I also have my CGM, and which she doesn't make us do, but she doesn't make us.
Do we want to do this?
We can. We're kind of past the topic, but we can bring it
Well,
up.
we could save it till next time.
Okay. Yes.
But let's go up here. We got to find where we left off. That was from Sesame Street, the loose wheel.
Oh, is it really? That figures.
That makes sense, yeah. Agi is saying, hi all, loving your videos. Many thanks.
Hello.
Paul is asking where we are from, or maybe he's asking everybody in the chat where they're from. I don't know.
We are from southeastern Wisconsin, between Milwaukee and Chicago. So we're Midwesterners.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting because we're neither mid nor west. There's a lot more country west of us.
Oh, yeah.
And we're really kind of more at the top of the country.
Yeah.
But that's what we are, Midwesterners.
Amy's from Nebraska, where head of cattle outnumber the humans.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me. There is, we've got that major highway that runs by us by the mushroom farm, right?
Yes.
Yes. There's a parallel road that the GPS always says we can take, but it'll take a minute further. It's a beautiful country road.
Yeah.
And holy cow, there is a big, huge cattle farm with store and stuff that we have got to check. Right?
Interesting.
Right? Yeah.
We eat lots of them.
Yes.
Amy says, I wish you guys posted more frequently. I love the live videos. Okay, so we used to do 2 pre-recorded videos a week and a live. And then last fall, the holidays started to hit.
And our move.
And we moved and we said, okay, 1 pre-recorded video, 1 live. And that's what we've been able to sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get back to 2 videos at some point, but right now that's the pace we can do.
But thank you.
Yes, thank you. Almost always miss them and watch the replays while I'm out. Well, that's great. We don't mind if you watch them live or on replay. Our rule is if you watch it live, you will also watch the replay. You can watch it on mute because you already know what we're going to say. And that's not really a rule. It's just more of a request. You will do it. Paul, 0 carb, ground beef, eggs, butter.
Yep. Yeah.
Ski is asking, have you ever heard of Max German? Yes, that's very familiar.
Well, I asked you about it this week.
I'm not coming up with a name.
You are correct. I did watch I watched part of a Max German video. I've seen him at events, I think. I think he was at Meatstock. And of course I've heard of him, but he just doesn't come across my feed a whole lot.
I know the face now.
Yes.
I just looked it up.
Yes. But I watched part of one of his videos because he was talking a little bit about insulin suppression, but he had a slightly different
take on it.
And so I had talked to you about that a little bit. Yeah.
Paul says protein does not stimulate the gluconeogenesis CBARK. And the answer is it's more complicated than that. And I don't watch BARK anymore just because I can't take the negative personality. So he may have great points. He may be right about a lot of stuff, but it's lost on me because I don't need that in my life. Let's see. Los Gatos, California.
Oh, hello.
I love to say Los Gatos.
Los Gatos.
Paul's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Another Pennsylvanian.
Hey.
Our second Pennsylvanian that we know of. So I think we've done it, JJ.
I think we did. Yeah.
I think we've got a life to live, so we should probably get on with doing it.
We do. And we take our daughter back to school in a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there also needs to be a little family time.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we'll do some of that too. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
We do.
Every day stronger.
Every day more blessed.
Their lipids are high, their doctors are worried, they're both gonna die. Is LDL harmless? They sure hope it's so. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. Salad is toxic, seed oils are doom. They rub on tallow like greasy perfume. Ribeyes and bacon, that's all they know. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. No wheat, no kale, they're laughing at greens. 18-hour fasts are their favorite routines. Sugars for suckers, they're chomping on fat. Streaming to you live from a tallow vat. Eric's got muscles, JJ's got zen. They're coming to chat with their carnivore friends. So toss out the lettuce, embrace the beef glow. It's the